everyone. Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I'm Denise Pridemore, and this is my husband, Ron.
Hello.
Tonight he's going to be our co-host with me because we have on one of my best friends and favorite people in the world, Kat Hobson, and he's never gotten to be on here to get his questions asked from his own mouth. He usually has to send them to me, and I usually have to ask him. I just asked him if he would be on here because he loves Kat too. So we'd like to welcome Kat Hobson to the show.
He loves y'all too. Hey.
Well, it's easy. We get along so great. Even after 10 years of all this.
It's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. So Kat is the host of Fate Magazine Radio every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. And she's also got her own show called Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. And that is on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Do you still have your network?
I do still have the network. I'm not running them there right now because I'm trying to learn as I go. So I am, as I'm getting better, I'm doing live stream. But last night we were traveling, and if I am not home to do a live live stream feed, then hey Tom, I do. Like last night, I popped up my interview with Jacques Vallée just through Spreaker because I still have my Spreaker network account. So if you can't see me, you can still hear me. So it was fun. I had forgotten about that interview because when I interviewed him, he had to come that day, and he was in France. He was home. I had just had surgery where I had my parathyroid taken out. Hey, Karen. And it was like a Jack the Ripper cut. The scar is still right there. So that was fresh. And I'm doing an interview. I can't touch it with a shirt or any collar. So I was very Parisian for that event. I had a scarf on. I was like, oh, yes, we're celebrating Jacques Vallée. But it was because he wanted to be on video. He wanted to talk to me face to face. So, yeah, I did not save that video because, scar 3 days after surgery. And so I ran the show, the audio.
Believe me, I know all about that.
I know you do.
It's
crazy.
1 year, you and I just took turns.
Man.
And that was a hard year.
Yes.
That was a hard year.
Thank God it was all audio.
Yes.
So, hey, Dara.
Hey,
we
Tom.
missed you too.
Mom.
Hey, Dara.
Susan and Mike. Dara.
So,
You got them all getting in.
Everybody's getting in tonight.
Early.
And Susan. Hi, Susan. But I know Dara does miss you guys.
Oh, yeah. It's been as good as it's been to be here. It's also hard being away from the people I love.
Hey, Wesley.
So
the only time that cat comes near you.
Yeah.
During the show.
Never come. She will attack me instead.
Hey, Jeremy.
So actually, I also have another cat at my feet.
You have such interesting I can't point fingers, but you have such interesting animals because it's never boring at your house.
Nope.
Yeah, it's never boring, but I will say it's less interesting than it used to be. We're down 2. No, we're not dog sitting.
That's unreal.
I don't miss it. I do miss Ruby and Clover.
I know you do.
Them a lot. And I miss Leah too. And I can't leave out Tyler because that would be rude. But, because it is a package deal.
It is a package deal.
You only get the 2 if you take all 4. So,
I know that's right, girl.
So, so when was the last time you were down here at the beach?
Oh my goodness. I'm
Hasn't
gonna put
been
my
there.
armrest down because they look weird. I
Been
look
gone.
surrounded. It has been, well, I've been a little busy.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been down since May.
Okay. So the last time I saw you was the
Yeah.
last time you were down.
Was the last time I was there because I was getting my stuff geared up to head towards Scotland.
Yeah.
And once I got home, it was Katie bar the door. It really was. And so then I went over there, and as soon as I came home, I had something else.
We were going to try to meet up, but that didn't happen.
No, I didn't get a chance to
that
get
was
down
okay.
there.
That's okay. It all worked out the way it was meant to.
It
Because
does, doesn't it?
We got stuck in traffic in
Chattanooga,
Birmingham, Montgomery. Also on the
What
way
day
up
were you
in
driving?
Atlanta. What was it? A Thursday? Yeah. We stayed in Bristol on Wednesday.
Thursday.
It was that Thursday. Or no, maybe it was Friday.
Might have been Friday.
It was Friday because we went to
Yeah, it was
Gatlinburg
Friday.
and then headed out from there. And everybody we tried to meet up with couldn't. Something happened last minute where they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it was just meant for us to go and just be us.
Well, and you haven't done a lot of that here lately. So, were you like honeymooners?
No.
Are you like honeymooners now?
No, we still have one guest, or not
Big
guest,
no.
one family member living
Right.
with us, and we're happy to have her here. I don't get this, to be honest. I really don't. She and Susan, I think you're right. I think she does want to be a celebrity.
Yep.
So
Well,
it could be worse. She could be biting on me.
it's exactly
So-
right. But
So-
they do. They want to do everything we do. I actually, because this is your show, I left my door open so that Tipper and Little can come and go, because I only have 2 dogs now.
Yeah.
Which is very strange because they're both small dogs, and I've not had just 2 of anything in forever, and it's weird. They're weird. That's why they fit right into this household. So,
Hey there, Dave, and yeah, we know Max Hawthorne. He's a good guy.
yeah, Don Corleone, yes, he
his
is.
His name's Dave.
Well, but not what's in there.
I know.
So, because he used to produce, and I do know him from Max, so I did know that. But I am so glad to see you guys. I miss you. I mean,
Miss
we're
you
closer
too.
than we've ever been, and we've seen each other more than we ever have, but we're still not saying enough yet.
We've got a better chance now than we did before.
Yeah, we do.
I don't feel the need to stick around the house.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you add in the new job.
Yeah,
and
that transition
job-
right as you moved was so hard.
Well, the harder part is being new, but being old at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the job, not in my age.
We're not even touching on age.
No, we're not touching on age.
Not there.
New job, new boss, new
Yeah.
responsibilities. Old job comes in and becomes part of my responsibility in the new job. And that makes it hard. And I don't think people really understand really what it entails to take one company out of another company or make a new company out of pieces of an old one.
Yeah.
So, and there's puzzle pieces missing. I swear somebody threw it away and we're all still looking for it.
That happens, right?
Yeah. So
I've only been part of merging. I did not have to go through a whole complete restructuring, but my company and the company that we made the systems to make their stuff merged. And then our boss was killed in a plane crash. He was the guy that put together the merger, and it just made life nuts, corporately, because nobody knew what to do at that point. And then I moved to Birmingham. I came home. I just left it to them and went to work for one of our installers, and it worked out beautifully.
Yeah, so. I did the Sprint Nextel merger.
Yeah.
I was involved in that. I was involved when Sprint broke off into two companies.
Yeah.
So this isn't the first time I've done this. That's what's really strange. Then we did the CenturyTel and Embark merger. And now here's this one where we're splitting off and becoming a whole different company. It's weird, how you do that. Yep, we do need one.
We do need that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about Tom McNicholas and his ideas.
Yes, let's go viral, get some money made, enjoy our time, and not put it in the stock market yet.
No. And don't think that I'm not sweating bullets about what's still sitting there. But I figure that I'll wait. And it's just, I've written it out. So I don't look.
Oh, yeah.
Not right now. I'm not looking. I'll have a heart attack.
Just don't look yet. Our 401ks will be fine. Just everybody vote when the time comes.
And if you don't know,
don't vote.
Don't go.
Yeah.
You don't know how to vote right? Don't go.
Well, the main thing is that no matter who you vote for, you have to be an educated voter.
Right.
Yes.
And, you need to go, and if you don't understand the finances of a nation, you need to learn that. I mean, I really think when I was in high school, political science was something that we took before we were allowed to register to vote. Mm-hmm. It was just a government class, basically. And I was a political science major in college. So, I think it's fun. I like the watching aspect of elections, but the game has changed. Yeah. It's not.
We might be doing this time.
Yeah, we gotta be
poll watching.
Yeah, we may be poll watchers this time.
Well, you were poll watchers last time.
No, we were
or the time before.
Yeah,
we were actually poll workers. So when people came in, election officials, and so whole different ball game. We were employed by the state.
Right.
This time it would be a secondary party or third party.
Right.
Something like that. And so I'm looking at that because I don't want to get involved yet in Florida politics.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn about Florida politics.
Yeah. I don't want to do that yet, but I do want to get to know people here, but I don't want to do it politically.
Right.
Because that's the whole thing. Here, the one thing we hear a lot is every time you ask a question on Facebook to any of the local things, they say, if you don't like it, move. And it's like, it's not that I don't like it. I got a damn question. Answer my question.
Yeah.
Well, we live close to one of the cheating states, so that's the one we need to go in.
Yeah. Well, you also, are there where there's a lot of active military bases. Yeah. And those are some very opinionated voters.
Oh, I know. And
it should be.
Yeah.
Well, they should be because there's whose lives are on the line.
Yeah.
When we get it wrong.
Yeah. One party actually supports military and the other one hates it. So.
Okay.
Well, same with law enforcement.
When I was in.
Okay. Change. So that we're gonna go to your trip to Scotland.
Yeah, we gotta hear about that.
How was that? And I saw the pictures. You still looked like it was a little chilly.
Well, and it was so funny because I'm so glad David got me to get a Scotty vest, like his poker jacket, his Scotty jacket. I had 18 pockets in that baby. And my passport had its own pocket.
Find a bunch of aces?
Huh?
Did you find a bunch of aces in the pockets?
No, darn it.
Oh,
But I did find a lot of paranormal equipment. I looked like I was knocked up the whole way through Scotland because I had my vest loaded with stuff, and then I had my that Winchester raincoat that everybody laughed at me for buying. I was in the rain a lot, especially when we were in Edinburgh at the beginning, and I never got wet. And I had my not my cloth hokas, but I because I have to wear those because of my injuries, but um I had my little solid hokas, and seriously, I stayed dry all the way through. If you go to the Winchester house, buy their raincoat. Forget the investigation, buy the raincoat.
yeah. Hey, John.
Hey,
Hey,
John, how are you?
John.
And so, which place there was your favorite place? I know all of it was, but which one was your most favorite?
Visually, Castle Mingus, we say Menzies, they call it Mingus. So I'm like, all right. But that was the environment around it. Everything, you looked like you were standing in a painting, literally. I mean, it was so lush and green. I've been to the redwoods. These pines were as tall as the redwoods. It was an ancient forest. Um, it was really and truly the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my entire life. I can see why people would want to build a castle there. And people live on that property too. Different farms and homes and stuff. Very, very persuasive. And the activity was not what I thought it was going to be there, but it's very ancient energy as well. That place had Bonnie Prince Charlie's death mask. They made a death mask of him because they, basically proof of death. And there was one there. So that was kind of interesting and cool. There was activity. It was just very muted. And I think that they didn't know why there were Americans there, maybe. I don't know. But it was cool. My favorite place to investigate, um, that's a toss up. We went to two places that had never been investigated before. One of those I had an empath response that you'll relate to. And then at Balgony Castle was the most knowledgeable interaction of a spirit because the laird that was Rick McCollum's friend had passed away after we left 2 years ago. And so that was Rick's first time with equipment with the laird being in the area, and it was off the chain. But the other place, because you're not allowed to investigate Culloden Battlefield, it's holy. If they see you with equipment, you will be run out on a rail, probably carried out. But you know, you know how it is that sometimes we're the equipment. And I was very moved by being at Culloden. It was the place we all got to pick a couple of places that we wanted to not miss going to because of the trip we had before. The Culloden was one of my picks, and we went there for me. And when we were there, the history behind that was mind blowing. It was where the redcoats fought the Jacobites, and 500 redcoats were killed, 555, I think, and 1,500 plus Jacobites were killed that day. And then they went and found their families and children and dogs and killed all of those people too. But and if the combatants weren't dead, the redcoats went through the battlefield and killed them. So there was no mercy or quarter given. And we were there with Highland Paranormal, which is actually a TAPS affiliated team and some wonderful people. But I didn't know what to expect. Liam Shand had said, there's a marker over here that has that, I'm not going to tell you what happens around it, but there's stuff that does. So just be aware. So I'm just like, okay. So I went by and there's so much energy there that it was tough to differentiate. And as I'm walking down, I'm walking with Rick going toward where the Jacobian side was, and it felt like I got shot. And it was, at first I thought, oh my goodness, that's just, I got shot. And then I thought, well, no, wait, maybe you're having pancreatitis or something, same region. But usually I've only had that happen one time, and I had eaten duck, which I don't do anymore. But it was that sudden and that sharp, but it didn't go away, and it was very centered. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, did I get shot? And Rick is like, what's wrong with you? I said, I think I need to step away for a minute, please. I need to move. So, we kind of walked back toward the parking lot off of the battlefield, and it didn't abate. So we got one of the Highland Paranormal people took us away from the battlefield, and it started to feel better. And I was so nervous coming back because we had to go pick people up, right? And I didn't want to be that person that kept Rick from exploring the battlefield, and I wanted to explore it more too. I mean, it was obviously a paranormal thing, so I wasn't that freaked out anymore, because they can make you uncomfortable, but they don't usually just take you out, right? They want to show you what they experienced, and sometimes they don't understand what our physical reaction is to their demonstration, right? I've had that happen a couple of times, but this one was really, really surprising, because I did not anticipate anything like that happening there. I just figured that, it'd be chilly over there by that stone, or, whatever.
Yeah.
But that particular family, there were 7 stones, just to, and each stone represented the clan, right? Yeah. And there were like 4 that I saw stones with that name, and they were together. So I don't know exactly how many members of this clan were killed right there, but it looks like all of them. Okay. And that's how they marked the clans, was, they just put stones up for those people. And it was probably my most intense experience while I was there. There were a lot of them. I mean, the difference between my tour 2 years ago that was with a company and somebody that didn't really get off on the paranormal, they just like to make money off it.
Yeah.
So, the world's largest ghost hunt has never really yielded much, right? So that's the same person that did that tour. And so when I went back, and Rick had gotten a list, like I said, from all of us, of things that we wanted to investigate that were must-dos. He got some places that we were able to go into. Like I said, 2 of them had never been investigated before. So, and they did have artifacts. So that was pretty cool. One of them was the Writers Museum, which is in Edinburgh. And it is very much the coolest, much cooler than I had any idea it was going to be. It was representing all of the authors who were Scottish people, Burns and Scott. And there were so many, prints of, my family is big on, recitation of poetry to each other or whatever. And so I'm seeing quotes all through this structure that my grandpa would say to all of us, or, especially to my grandma if it were really, whatever. And I'm getting this big, the big feels in this place, right? And I go up, and Jay Craig, the guy who let us in, was explaining stuff upstairs, and I got whacked in the head. This was our first investigation, right? We're in Edinburgh. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what just happened? There is something happening. This is not my pain, but oh my God, this hurts. Right. And so finally, Lori Dorsey looked over at me and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I don't know, but I just, you know, oh my gosh, this is so unusual for this to be this intense." And I mean, I actually put my hand up to see if there was blood on it when I thought maybe something had fallen and hit me, or so. I finally interrupted the tour and said, "Look, I have to ask, is there anyone related to anything in this room who died of a head injury here? Because there's somebody here. I don't know who it is." And Jay Craig is like, "Well, I don't know of anything." And the young woman with us said, "Actually, yes, there was a man who fell and struck his head on the marble staircase. And yeah, they brought him back in and took care of his medical bills and his care. And he died here." And I was like, "Well, where is his stuff? Is there anything about him close to me?" And I was standing like in the doorway, and there was another room to the left and some other stuff behind us. She was like, "Well, actually, yes, right inside that other door is a case, and it has his medical records and the bill that was paid in there." And I'm like, "Get out of town." Because you know how extreme that is for me, right? For those that don't know, yes, I'm an empath. I'm an experiential empath. I'm also an evidentiary empath. I can be surprised as as evidenced by these, stories. But it was just like, holy crap, And I finally just said, "Okay, I'm so sorry this happened to you, and thank you for letting me know your story, because now everyone knows that." Everyone in this room now knows that your staff being here is such a big deal, and that you're still here and you wanted someone to know your story. So thank you for sharing that with me. But if you could just back up a little bit, that would be fantastic. So that was pretty cool. But I didn't like that whatever opened me up so much when I was there made both of those experiences, it was excruciating. It was bad. And fortunately, when it was acknowledged and addressed, it was much better. So, but they just wanted their story out there. And again, I don't know who at Culloden it was, but it had to be a member of that clan. So, because that's all that was around me.
Yeah.
Unless it was a red coat that shot me. I don't know. I think they were showing me their injury, though.
So when you're talking about the battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel that as a spirit that there's an expiration date?
Nope.
So how far back do you think that you've witnessed paranormal activity from?
Oh, well, this was the Jacobean Wars, so that's probably the oldest that I've had. I think that we're one to go to, if you and I were to go into the Middle East, I think that we would have stuff from that period too. I don't think that I would be comfortable with ancient Egyptian spirits, because they were spiritual themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of energy that would create. I do know that someone in New Orleans who is a friend of mine has is a piece of obsidian that is carved that she brought back from there. And she let me take a picture of it because I was like, I see these ancient alien guys all the time. I need to have a picture of this because I want to ask someone and, get the information if I can, at least what language this is, because it looked like Sanskrit, right? And so I did. I got the little Egyptian gentleman in a hat and pulled that picture up and was like, can you tell me about this? And he said, well, yeah, that's ancient. That's ancient. Where did you find this? And I said, well, a friend owns it. So, I didn't know how it got back to the States. So I just said a friend owns it. So, he said, well, this is common writing. This is just the average person on the street writing. This is not what they use for the royal things. And I was like, okay, well, doesn't matter. It's still that, that period.
Yeah.
And he was very adamant that it was. So I thought, well, there you go. Because Phyllis, who owns Fate Magazine, actually got to interview Sitchin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still see that interview on YouTube. And wouldn't you have liked to have gotten that interview?
Oh, yeah.
Zechariah Sitchin, I could have held that up to him and he could have told me exactly what it said.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think things like that are cool. But that's why I think that the ancients would probably be a little freaky to interact with. What about you?
I wonder because I never hear anybody say that they saw the spirit of Cro-Magnon man or a dinosaur or anything like that.
I have talked to people that I'm not sure. Okay. Because you can never be sure if it's not your experience.
Yes.
But I do think that probably there's a lot more Jurassic interaction than people talk about because they'd be booted off. They'd be taken away. If they were like, I was riding a dinosaur last week while I was over in, Timbuktu, whatever. That would get you a ride somewhere. But, as far as Cro-Magnon, that's a good point. How would we know that was Cro-Magnon? By the energy.
Right. We would.
Yeah.
How would we know? I mean, we don't speak the language that they spoke then. Even
if there was language.
Right.
Which is a stretch.
We don't even know that. Then add in body language. There is body language. We might be able to read some of that if we can see them.
Well, that brings up another issue because what we might consider, A, would be a lot smaller, right? But B, we wouldn't even know necessarily what their body signals are. There's all kinds of communication. You've got energetic, you've got physical, you've got verbal, and what we might consider to be, oh my God, they're going to kill me. It might have been somebody that's just excited and doing motions to indicate that.
Yeah.
So, I think that if you get to certain periods, you might have a problem with interpretation.
Yeah.
If they didn't have language.
Changed meanings. I mean, we know that things have changed meanings. We're watching it change meanings right during our lifetime.
Probably during the show.
Probably. But you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, we were watching news today and they go, well, we're trying to avoid recession. And it's like, how many do we have to go through before you notice that we went through one?
Well, the problem is that, A, there's no term limit. So people stay in there long enough that they create more problems.
Yeah.
And then, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and be surprised that you're getting the exact same freaking result.
Right.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, that
you
is a
have to.
scientific method, though. Keep doing it.
Well, I think
So
they have it
are
down
we,
to a science now, so we can stop that one.
yeah, we can
But
stop it. It's screwed up enough. We're done.
yeah, well, when you sit back and you watch your retirement income drop, and you didn't do it, right?
You
It's
didn't get to enjoy any of it.
yeah. Well, that's a reason that I have a terrible attitude about that. It's like I'm 62, right? I plan to live till, the cows come home, but every so often you're wrong about that. And what if I've got all this money in the bank and I kick it and I didn't do all the fun things I wanted to do?
Yep.
There's a certain level I'm not going to come below, but when I hit that, I'll just let it sit back. And now I'm not confident that I'm going to sit back and let it, recreate itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not touching anything at all right this minute.
But like I said, the meanings of the words have changed.
Yeah.
Over time. So just like symbols have changed. Some symbols are always going to be the same, and others are going to take on different meaning. I mean, it's just like the word swell. We don't say it anymore unless we're swollen. We don't say I'm swell.
Yeah.
So we change what we say to fit where we are. So that would make it difficult for us to know, like you were saying, what they're trying to tell us.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's kind of like when if you guys remember back to Mork and Mindy, and Robin Williams came on the scene, and you actually had to explain to him in real words or in real displays of what to do. He's sitting on his head. This is how we sit.
That was such brilliant work, by the way.
Oh, it was.
That man was something else.
Right. It means something. Well, now it means something totally different. But think about this. This is what you're talking to. You're trying to talk to somebody who doesn't even understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah. And you can't comprehend what they're understanding because they can't describe it to you.
Right. And you can't use Google Translate for this.
Damn it.
Yeah, I think all the people we've interviewed, I think the oldest somebody said spirit they saw was about 500 years old. That's the longest.
I would say that I've seen that.
We've asked that about everybody.
Yeah. I think that natives here I've seen that would be right around that time period.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's not necessarily like there were Indians who were slaughtered here in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But there were also natives that I've seen who were pre them. So I don't know how far back that was.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Those are it's like one time I tried to explain to somebody this man that I saw. I said he was from either between the 20s and the 70s. And they go, how can it be such a huge time frame? I said, because he was wearing a jumpsuit, like a work jumpsuit. Those things never changed.
Nope.
Only thing that changed was in the 70s. They got different colors, maybe, but they were always khaki.
Bell bottoms.
Oh, maybe. But they were, khaki colored work suits.
Well, or navy.
Yeah,
because
or navy.
Now, yeah, depending on what their work was, if they worked in automotives or railroads and stuff, they tended to be the darker colors.
Mm-hmm.
If they worked in farming or other type of light industry, then they were lighter colored because of the dirt, because of the wearability.
Yeah, so you understand how it is hard to put a time on something timeless like that.
Yeah.
Same as Native Americans, their traditions, the indigenous people's traditions pretty much stay the same. Unless you see them in current clothes, you wouldn't know what time frame they're from. So, like when we went to see the Creek Indians at the festival here, and you know what I'm talking about.
I did the Porch Creek Festival.
Yeah. And we went to that last year, and some of the people there were wearing traditional garb.
Yeah.
And other people had made theirs out of less traditional. Some of it was polyester, which I didn't understand, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't want to wear that beautiful suede. I'm just going to kick over to poly today. Yeah. I don't get that either.
It was really hot.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It was really hot. It was in September and it was horrible. But
I think that September is just the best.
I love it too, but they were dancing.
I wouldn't be in.
They were hot.
I wouldn't have been in polyester either. I'm sorry. That stuff does not breathe, and it can make you just
sweat your ass off.
Yeah.
So, but again, how do we time this? You know, that makes it hard when you see or hear spirits, and you're trying to figure out, how do I date this? It's not as easy as it is with traditional American and English, Scottish cultures where their clothing changed over time.
And the portraiture, the portraiture is really all we have to go by with the earlier Europeans, because portraiture was a big thing for them. And something that I learned while I was over there is that local artists, traveling artists would go, they would already have bodies with, clothing painted and stuff. And if you wanted a painting, they would just add your head and hands or whatever. So that's why you see a lot of men with lacy cravats and stuff like that who look like they are very effeminate because of the clothes, whatever the portraiture had.
Early year Photoshop.
Early year Photoshop. Yes. I mean, that's what they did. And because I can't remember the king that was at Horus. That's going to drive me crazy. But anyway, his portrait as you go into the palace is very lacy with, gold brocade, but he looks very effeminate in that painting. And Linda, who is the Scottish Trust person over Chorus, was like, that's because that's probably what the artist had left that was fancy enough for a king. So the gold brocade and the lacy cravat and stuff were what he put him on. I thought that was interesting.
So you have a question. Gary's asking me, how old do I think the Indians were that I saw at the cemetery? Age, I don't know, but time frame, I'd say the 1550s, 1600.
Yeah, I think that's what he's wanting.
Yeah, it was in Missouri.
Time period.
Yeah.
Do you know what tribe they were?
Do I know what tribe? No. It was in Missouri, so it's quite possible it could have been
1600s, you said?
1500 to 1500. 1550. And
then
could be, it could have been almost any. I mean, the Potawatomi were there, the Ottawa were there, then add in the Illini went through there when they were doing a lot of their hunting and stuff. Who else was there? Oh, the Kansas Indians were not that far that I know of, because that's Kansas, but it's hard to say which one they were. I didn't study every tribe when I was in the area. I was busy raising kids.
You think that does take us aside out of the game for a little while.
Yeah, it does. It takes a little while. And they didn't have internet.
Yeah.
When I first started all this stuff. So it was I'd have to really look and see what I remember now, because sometimes our memories fade over time. I don't know about you, but there's been times I've seen stuff that somebody has to remind me that I saw because I told them about it. But at this point, I've seen so much stuff, I've kind of forgotten some of it.
Well, and you see more than I do. So mine is primarily empathic. Excuse me. Every so often, if it's somebody really strong and they really want me to be, playing, then they show. But that does not happen much. And I think it's because I put out there early in this experience that I do not want to see. I don't want to see your death state ever. Nobody ever show me that. And because especially over there, because some of those were the most horrific deaths you can imagine. And I just would not be able to cope with that because that's the empath side. It's the empathic side. And, but I put that out, the death state thing I put out wherever I go. Nope, don't show me your death state. You can come say hi, right? You can't stay with me, but absolutely, I do not want to see this. I would hurt for you so badly that I just couldn't take that. And I think because I kind of personalize that for them, that they understand that, oh, well, she would just care. So, and I would, so I don't.
So are you planning on going back to Scotland in 2 years?
I am going to Ireland next year, but David doesn't know.
Oh, but David doesn't know yet. Okay.
I had brought it up. So.
Well, you had some time in the car to talk, so. No?
Nope. No, okay. We do talk, but yeah, he was playing poker and he was telling me about that stuff. And I was wandering all over the Smokies over by Cherokee and going toward Gatlinburg and stuff. And I was playing hard and again, rain, but I did walk, a mile in and a mile out on the Appalachian Trail just because I was by myself. Mm-hmm. And I stayed between groups of people because I wanted to experience it just me, but I didn't have a whistle. I didn't have a stick. I didn't have anything except the feet and my raincoat. So
you need to have pepper spray on your
bear spray.
Yeah. Bear spray.
Well, yeah, but normally if you're just walking around, pepper spray's enough. Not for a bear. Yeah,
but it was bear season and there were cubs around and there were and there are big cats there too. I do not go and tempt fate there because the bears, people think that black bears, because they're cute and we've got, everybody's had teddy bears and they're so, those suckers are there to eat. And mainly they're not carnivores. They'll just kill you for fun because they perceive you as a threat. They're herbs. They're vegetarian for the most part.
Yeah.
But
we got a lot of them here.
But they will whack you to get you out of the way to get to those blueberries.
Yep. And you know what? Their whack is a lot more powerful than mine. So, and if you piss them off, they're going to chase you.
Yeah. And laying down and faking dead doesn't work.
It gets you eaten faster.
Yes, it does. That means you gave up.
Yeah. And, they don't care that you're crazy because you lay down. They just figure, hey, look.
Easy pickings here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I do not ever plan to be easy pickings for anything.
I'm never easy. Or pickings.
Ron said differently.
No,
he's never easy. That's true. Hey, when you guys planned this trip, you said that you asked everybody where they wanted to go?
Yep. Rick McCollum, we all decided that we had. Say that again.
I said that's a good way to do it.
Well, it is because, we didn't get to see any of the stuff that were sold with that package, right? I mean, it was a ridiculous thing. And I've actually started naming the tour now, but I won't do it on your show. But it was so crazy because there weren't enough rooms booked. There weren't, the drivers could only work until 7. We had to be back wherever we were going by 7 at night. Well, it stays daylight in Scotland until midnight, and then it never fully gets dark. That's just the darkest it's going to get, and then it starts lightening back up again in the summer, especially. And it was just like, at least put us in places where we can go do something.
Yeah.
But we were not. We were off in Timbuktu. We were supposed to be staying in a 14th century castle, or the 11th century castle, our first stop. Well, it caught fire during COVID and you couldn't stay there. And the tour operator of Mysterious Adventure Tours did not even plan to call and check on our reservations, even after she added another tour to our group. So that's why nobody had places to stay. That's why people had to go and, I got dumped on the side of the road with my travel buddy, Lori, because I didn't want to go stay at an airport hotel. So she just put us in a place and told us that we were getting her and her husband's room. And the place was not, in fact, anybody from our tour being there. So we were in a foreign country, dumped in a hotel that had bed bugs and was in a very um, sliding downhill area of Kirkcaldy. And in fact, when the manager at the hotel we were supposed to stay in found out where we were, his reaction to Rick and Jay Bloomkey was, tell them to get in a cab and come here. We've got them. Tell them to come here. They do not need to be there and they do not need to walk. So that's where we got left. Right. So, and Lori was in a tizzy and she was like, she found a Holiday Inn, and I'm like, we're not going anywhere. We're in a foreign country and nobody knows where we are. And the British Open is just wrapping up. So if there's a room somewhere, it's going to be probably at least this bad, no, we're not just running off into the darkness. So it worked out. The people at the Strathern took care of us in the situation. And the first night was rocky, but Rick was the owner of the hotel, put Rick up in his private suite. And we got Rick's room. And then from that night on, we had very, very nice rooms. But they just had to wait on people to leave. And when we would go out to do things, then they would move our stuff into the next room. We had to change rooms, but they moved us. It was so wonderful and nice and beautiful. And the owner and the manager, whose name is Joe Smiley, hi Joe, is they're the best people on the planet. They really are at the top of my list because they saw what happened. And Maria actually tried to take our room when she found out, because her other guests were in very fancy rooms, the people that weren't part of the original tour. Mm-hmm. And when the talent for that was leaving, then Maria had planned to take the room and leave everybody else at the airport 45 minutes away. And I saw her on the phone and I'm like, oh, she is going to try to take my room. I bet that's what she's doing. So I called the hotel and just said, yeah, this is Kat Hobson calling for, and he got on the phone and he was like, are you okay? I said, I am, but I just saw her on the phone and I wanted to make sure if I needed to make other arrangements, I knew it before I got there. He said, no, ma'am. He said, I told you that was your room and I am a gentleman and you will be staying here for the duration of your trip. So I thought I sent him a knight. I called the knight store and sent him a William Wallace statue that was about yay big.
Yeah.
And, because he was our knight in shining armor. And he will always be somebody that I think is just the bee's knees.
Well,
So
I mean, he made what was a horrible experience into something memorable and less stressful for you. And I guarantee your husband was wanting to get on a plane and get over there to get you.
he would have been if he were aware,
Oh, well, thank
Yeah.
God he didn't know then.
because he would have been going ape. And well, until things were resolved, I was safe. You know, well, Lori and I were together. We were pretty safe. We got a cab to go back where our group was, and you know, the really funny part was when the people that knew what was going on and were okay with it came in, and Lori and I were there. The expressions made the whole experience worth it. So,
I can see it now.
and don't you know that those cell phones were burning up? Going back to the tour operator.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had such a horrible experience to start with.
But it
And
worked out perfectly.
again, that's where I go. Things happen the way they happen for a reason, and it all turns out at some point.
Well, it does. And, you know, the
And
fact
karma's
that
great.
Huh?
And karma's great too.
Karma is fabulous. I love Karma because I try not to piss her off. But it's funny when other people do and you get to see the results because, you know, I had great, and you know, I promoted the fire out of that company. All the tours that they were going on, I just promoted the fire out of it because I thought, but I didn't get compensation. I mean, I was a paying guest on that tour.
Right.
It was someplace I wanted to go. It was, you know, Rick's first international adventure like that. So, you got explosions?
Sometimes
Yeah.
something.
Big boom.
Yeah.
You hear
Probably. Yeah, probably a sonic jet.
Well,
that?
I haven't heard them do any.
Yeah, the bombing.
Yeah, we haven't
Haven't
heard that in a while. But it could be they do some practice things over in Eglin,
That was loud.
and I can feel it in the ground when they do it.
Yeah.
The jets don't usually fly over here. I mean, we've had a couple fly
The south,
north, you know,
north of us.
northwest. So I've seen them fly northwest from Eglin to wherever it is they're going.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen some fighter jets go that way a couple times, and
Well, you should get Blue Angel flyovers there.
haven't seen any.
Really?
Nope.
Because when they're doing their practices and they're doing the different points for the alignments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, they don't come up this far.
Saw some F-18s flying over at the beach, and helicopters. See that a lot.
Yeah, we saw that down at 30A when we were there, and that was interesting. We also saw over in Biloxi. We saw some big C-130s.
Yeah,
and
you know that Keesler is a big base.
I
was surprised by that.
It's a real big one.
Yeah.
It's training. It's basically a training base.
I don't know how you can train for anything there when the beach is right there.
I know. Well, at least
it helps it's not a good
it's Mississippi beaches, so it's easier.
Yeah. So. Actually, I think Ocean Springs is better than Biloxi. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, because they're right there at the mouth of the Mississippi. And, you know, that's why our water in Gulf Shores is not as clear as Pensacola because we've got the Mobile River feeding out right there. So anywhere that you've got one of the major rivers coming out into the Gulf, it's going to be muddier and the water is more a different green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same as Apalachicola. It's
Yeah.
the water there's just a little bit dirtier. And that's best place for oysters to have oyster farms, is where it's a little bit muddier.
Yep.
So, because we just went down to Dauphin Island a couple weekends ago.
What do you
guess it was
think?
Last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend. Oh, we've been there before. We went
Okay.
when Ruby was 5 months old. We went, and Dara and her family came down, and three of our kids
Yeah, we
came
hadn't been there
down. So
about
we
6
hadn't,
years.
we hadn't been there since we stayed in that cursed house there, and
Yeah.
I know it was cursed.
Yeah.
It just was, and we went and we got eaten alive by mosquitoes, but we met some very nice people in the visitor center. She's a very, very busybody kind of lady, but she was nice. And,
She's Southern.
I know. And she came there to retire. She grew up there and left, and then came back and retired there. And
Made a cemetery visit.
yes, we did. We found a cemetery number 1 in Dauphin Island, and we found another place where there were bones were found back a long time ago, but after reading up on it, I think it was animal bones. I don't think it was people bones.
It could have been.
So
The hurricanes.
yeah,
hit
So-
them.
Hurricanes and pirates.
Yeah.
and Indians. And, so there was a lot of stuff there. We'd been to Fort Gaines before. We drove down there. And I have to say, I think I like the west end of the island better than I like the east end of the island.
Well, yeah.
The middle of the island has grown. So here, it's on dry land. The whole thing.
Well, yeah,
You
but
have
you
to
have
walk.
you have
No, you
It
have to
changed.
walk
Yeah. Was it
more than half a mile.
Was it Sally that changed that?
No, Katrina.
Katrina. Oh, that's right.
Katrina
It was in the
actually.
water when Hurricane Katrina came through.
Yeah.
It was in the water after Hurricane Katrina.
It's a half-mile walk.
Yeah. And that's what's so wild. Katrina was such a monsterly huge
Yeah.
storm that even in Gulf Shores, we had, our lagoon pass got wiped out. We lost a bridge. So everything on the west end of Gulf Shores was gone.
Yeah.
Basically, well, the access to it was gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of the structures were so damaged that it was ridiculous. But Katrina was a bad old girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah.
That was a badass storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was walking on the beach where we were at.
We were on the east side.
Yeah,
of the island.
I looked up and I could see where it turned, and I said, I wonder where that goes, because I could see the main bridge 2-3 miles out. But
Yeah.
so I walked, I don't know, a mile and a half or so, and I got around the corner, and there was a great big cove, tons of fishing boats in there. And I'm sitting there watching. I was like, wow, are all these boats in this cove? There must be some, good fish in here. And this other couple that lived there comes up, and they said, yeah, look at all those fishing boats. And I said, yeah, that's what I was looking at. And the guy goes, that cove wasn't here before Katrina.
Right.
I said, what? He goes, no. He goes, where you're standing, you could walk straight across here and get to the other side.
Yeah.
He said this was not here until after Katrina. I said, you're kidding. He goes, nope.
So
it was a good half mile
Yeah.
across.
Welcome to a Cat 5.
Yeah.
That was
we drove the whole island, and
I just sat there and looked and went, man, he said, yeah, it changed this whole area right here.
it's like Iceland. It grew. But right there by the elementary school, that was the middle beach. Like I said, you park your car and you still could you imagine if you were walking with all the crap that we see people take to the beach?
Nope.
I won't take any of that crap to the beach.
I do know that.
But I will say there was one good thing about it. It was so packed down that we weren't having to. It was like walking on cold concrete.
Yeah. So your
That was the
Achilles
good
wasn't going to get stripped out while you were trying to get to the
No.
water.
And
But
so
coming back, we did get to tell everybody, you're almost there. You're almost
Yeah.
there. Really, they weren't, but
Got to give them hope, man. Got to
I
give
know.
them hope.
but yeah, it was a nice walk for me and him. But this little poor kid, he got stung by a jellyfish, and they were having to walk back to their car. And I was like, I felt so bad.
Man.
You
Did they
know,
pee on him?
huh?
Did anybody try to pee on him?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, they should have done that before they started walking. Did he
Well-
have a dad with him?
He had a mom and a dad.
Yeah, they were
and,
from Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I told them what to do, and hopefully they got him back. But I don't know how big the jellyfish were, because most of the time what I see is larvae, and if I see the really big ones, it's like I'm not going in the water.
Nope.
So,
That-
but yesterday we went to the beach,
Mm.
and at
That was
Pensacola, the beach was
Yeah,
like
there were
this,
no boats out.
and then you had a
So why?
3-foot drop
Yeah.
to get to the water because it was coming in so fast. It was eroding the beach. And so,
That was
Once
because
I
of
got-
that storm.
yeah,
Yeah.
once I got
Yeah,
down,
the waves are coming in from that direction.
Yeah.
once I got down there, I was fine until I got wiped out 3 times in a row by some waves. And only thing you saw was me tumbling in the wind. And
What color were the flags, Denise?
they were yellow. They should have
Yellow
been red.
and purple.
Yes.
They should have been red.
Yellow
If
and
not-
purple?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should
But
not
we
have
didn't
been in
see
that
any
water,
jellyfish.
girl.
No.
We didn't see anything that was of any concern other than the waves that just wouldn't stop with no period of going back. And I mean, you could feel the rip current when it was going back.
Yeah.
Bye, Gary. And so
Push
that-
you in, pull you out.
and every time we tried to leave to get out, the wall would come down. So we had to keep finding a place where we could make a step to get up. Finally, he got up and he was able to pull me up.
That's a scary feeling, though, because it can not let you up.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't letting me up. And
I mean, to stand up.
yeah, that was it. It wasn't
Yeah.
letting me stand up. I just got myself really calm, held my breath when the next wave hit. And then when the next one hit, I made sure I got my hands down to where I could get myself up as soon as it pulled away. And I told him, I said, I got to go sit down. So I had to find a place to get up. But by the time he was ready to come out, that place was already gone. You know, I had went and I sat on the beach, and hard to believe, but my face was sunburned yesterday. Doesn't look it now, but it was really bad. And we weren't even there an hour, and I put sunscreen on, but it caused me to have some really horrible heart palpitations and breathing issues for a little bit. It was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I got my boogie board out,
Couldn't even use it.
sat out there waiting for a good wave. Caught a good wave. It took me in. Went to get up and I got hit. So it kind of pushed me in some more. So I got on my knee. I went to push up again. I got hit again. That scooted me in. Yeah, I did it a few times, and then I'm like, man, my knee is hurting. I get in the shallow water and I lift it up, and I just got a few layers of skin just peeled off from the skin or from the sand, getting slammed against it.
He got a rug burn.
Bleeding like crazy. I'm like, damn.
That would be my
Lauren-
reaction.
Yeah, Lauren looks, she goes, yeah, your leg's bleeding pretty good. And she goes, yeah, my knee's hurting too. And she looks, she goes, oh crap. She got skinned too.
I did not get skinned. I mean, like I said, I got myself calm and I just rolled with it.
That's all you can do. You know, when you get in trouble and become part of what we research is when you start, wigging out, because it's the same reason that a lifeguard, if you're drowning, will not let you touch them. They
Right.
will give you something to hang on to.
Yeah,
And if you
'cause you'll
start
drown
climbing,
them.
if you start climbing whatever it is to get to them, they will let you go. And because you already have a flotation device, right?
Yeah.
So you're saved. But if you start climbing toward them, no.
What
See
was
ya.
really funny yesterday was there was this guy with a paddle board, and he's out there and he's laying on it and doing fine, just laying on it. And the next thing you know, you see him try to stand up, and I go 1, 2, 3, and by the time I said 3, he was in the water.
Yep.
He was in. Next thing you know, he's walking along the beach, carrying it, huffing and puffing, looking around. I said, "Man, that guy's wiped out." He wasn't
He
even
was. He had to be.
5 minutes. I
Yeah.
don't think.
And the thing is I told Ron, I said he could use that board. I said he could put it right up against this 3-foot
Yeah.
drop and walk right up on the beach and just pull it with him and he'll save himself some time.
Well, I'm surprised with the water like that he didn't just go over on the bay, because
The
that
bay
The
water.
day was choppy.
Yeah. the
Yeah,
bay
but it
was
wouldn't have
good.
been like that, correct?
Oh no, it
I
wasn't
mean-
near as bad. But
He was a tourist. I mean,
Oh,
you know when they are,
I do.
because he didn't have a paddle at all. So, but again, we were watching people with their little kids, and I said they need one of those little leashes for their kids in this, because we saw kids getting knocked down in the water. I couldn't believe people had their kids out
I
yesterday.
can't believe that either. That's so irresponsible.
Well, like I said, tourists don't know. We were smart enough. We got out there. We got knocked down. We got out. We left.
Yes, that's all. That should be all it takes. And if you're going to let your kid be out there getting knocked down, your butt should be right there with them.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
we did find
no,
a
that's best. That's all I did was just float.
we did find a
That's the way
really
it's
nice
floating.
Popeyes in Pensacola.
yeah.
So that was good. We made the most of it, and
I love that.
it all worked out. And let's see what else. So I wanted to talk to you. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but how was Gettysburg?
Yeah. What about Gettysburg?
Oh, that was the best Gettysburg Battlefield Bash I've been to. Bear in mind, I haven't been in 7 years because of,
Really?
injury. Well,
All the
injuries.
things.
Oh yeah.
COVID,
I didn't know it'd been 7 years.
injured. Yeah, I was there for the first couple, and it was pretty amazing. I got to see people I haven't seen in a while. I got to meet some new people. I started a research project, and you're going to be part of it, so just stand by. When I see you, I have something to give you, and I'm going to tell you about it because when I was in Scotland, where spirits had been used to somebody being there, they interacted with the communication devices, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were at Bannockburn House, and there was a spirit there. One of the people I investigate with likes to go into a location and say, "Do I remind you of anyone? Do you recognize my energy?" But and I have said several times, don't start with that, because you don't know who you're interacting with or what, right? So she didn't really lead with that, but when she asked, she got a reaction that she was not expecting, which is always something that can happen. And apparently whoever was there, she had murdered in a previous life, and it was not fun for her. It was kind of, because she was apologizing, and and we were using dowsing rods, right? And she was like, will you forgive me? That wasn't me, and it was like, nope. And she was like, well, but I'm so sorry, because I would never do that, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. Can you please forgive me? Nope. And it was like, nope, 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 nope. And I mean hard crosses, hard crosses, hard crosses. And I was like, you need to stop now. I mean, there's going to be repercussions if this keeps going like this. And I was like, we're just going to have to, just apologize and go, because you're not getting forgiveness for whatever happened. But that's why I tell you, don't do that, until you know who you're communicating with. But I noted that the spirit was communicating well with old school methods. And I thought, there's a lot of places that we go, everybody goes, that they didn't have electricity then. They don't, unless it's been really investigated a lot and with good results.
Yeah,
They
we
don't
found that out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I have a bell that sits on my desk, right? Because I bought it because look how pretty it is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's gorgeous. So I just loved it. And I put it on my desk and I thought, well, that'll be fun, And I was in the kitchen and it rang. And so, and we know I have family spirits here, right? So it started, it's a normal thing now. And I ordered a box of bells to take with me to Gettysburg. And I just gave them out with the stipulation that if I give you a bell and you use it on an investigation, I want to know what happens. If you get, give it a few tries. Don't give up on it, because it would be hilarious, but they won't do it now because I said it over there and said that. So, I'm
Spirits,
waiting.
animals, and kids.
Yeah.
Never do it when you want them to.
Mhm.
Nope. But it's so funny because, and it won't, I have not heard it do it when I was in the room. Right. And when I leave this room, I close the door because I have boy dogs. They're not as good as girl dogs. So sometimes you have to clean a mess up, which really makes me, grumpy and makes me want to have spirit animals more than I do. But I'm just kidding. I would never
I know
hurt
what
my
you
dog.
mean.
But it's annoying. So yeah, the door is closed all day and I'll be in different places and I'll hear it. But that first time when I was in the kitchen and it went off, I was like,
I know who did it.
who?
Right behind you.
Little green
He's
guy.
not interested in low tech stuff. He likes all the fancy things. But
He likes technology.
he loves technology and he loves screwing with technology. But and I bought a lot of gear while I was there, and was gifted some, and I'm just so glad that I go to events like this only to spend all my money, right? But I wanted, like, I needed a new geophone. I got one. I got a trigger object that I can pack, and that's it behind me. Can I show people?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is my favorite trigger object I've ever seen. And for those that know me, I'm a dog girl, right? So this is my trigger object. It's a little Yorkie. It's under the premise of Bee Buddies and the other things too. And when you turn them on, you get that. And if it gets, touched wherever, it's like geo and EMF. So his little collar lights up all the way across. And it's just, hello, April.
Hey, April.
So it's, I got that. So when I go back to the UK, I'll have something. In Scotland, everybody has dogs. Most of them are bigger dogs. If you go in a restaurant, you're eating with dogs. I mean, it's very dog friendly, especially around Roslyn. And because also that's where they did the cloning of the sheep Dolly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, which is in the building right as you come in town, and the cafe in our inn was called the Dolly, Dolly's Cafe kind of thing. And so
Our Dolly's Cafe is a little different.
yeah, it is.
It has more breasts there than they have there.
Yes. I like your while you're there, have you been to Native Cafe yet?
No.
What are you waiting for? But anyway, so they had pictures of all the pictures that we saw in the paper of the sheep, with the IVs and all the
Yeah.
stuff, or in the restaurant, which I found a little disconcerting to look at while I'm eating breakfast. But
Yeah.
I don't deal with stuff like that well. So, but what I did deal well with was that I got all my dog fixes every morning. We were in Roslyn for breakfast because there were dogs of all shapes, size, and colors. They were under the tables. You didn't touch unless you asked, or they approached you. And the dog park was directly across the street from our windows, and we were at the end of Roslyn Chapel's driveway. So we got to go and hike through Roslyn Glen, and that was fun. That was a 10-mile hike, and it was brilliant. So we couldn't get to Roslyn Castle, which is down the hill from the chapel and then past the graveyards, and it's over a viaduct to there. But because they were working on the bridge across the viaduct, but we did get to come up by it and come back through the other cemetery when we came up. And it was a lot of fun. Roslyn, if you can spend time in it, is so much better. And yes, Santiago was there at the Battlefield Bash. And, that was the first time I'd seen him in 3 years, 4 years. Longer. Pre-COVID was the last time I saw Santy.
Yeah.
So
we saw him in 2017.
Oh, you're due too. But he is so much fun and the nicest man. So, and he hasn't changed a bit.
So, you remember Linda Carino?
I do.
We're trying to plan to go to Gettysburg for the Battlefield Bash with her to make sure that we can all meet her at one of them. So we're working on that.
All right. Well, do you think it's going to be next year?
I'm hoping.
I hope so. I'll go.
Are they going to be doing the rooms in the same hotel? Mm-hmm. Did they say?
It's going to be in the same place.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you that that was very convenient because it's an convention center, and there's a hotel on each end of it.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the newer one, the Aspire,
mm-hmm.
but there's not a bad place because everybody just goes and hangs out in the lobby, and they have an auditorium pool.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can just hang out. There was a karaoke contest, and I can't remember who it was, but belted Phantom of the Opera. He should be on stage. I can't not remember who that was, but it was so good that I got blown away.
Rosalie was there. I don't know if you got to meet her. She's I met her through Farrah's show when Ken and Farrah were doing Demonology Today.
Mm-hmm.
And she came down here last year to get married.
Cool.
So the day, you remember when I got laid off?
Mm-hmm.
That's the day I got laid off, was the day she got married. So,
okay.
So I went to her wedding instead of going to work my final day.
You bad girl, you.
I lost the job. What's the matter?
What are they going to do? Fire you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
take
right.
my severance. But yeah, she was there. She offered us her. She goes, I have another bed in my room. You guys can come and stay.
Cool.
So
I did not have another bed, but we would have put Ron on the floor or something, or on the other side of you.
Rooms booked?
Huh?
Were all the rooms booked?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to call and book probably here in a couple weeks, so I know I got a room. Since you don't have to pay until you show up.
Right.
So not a big deal.
I think that next year I'll probably be at the Eisenhower. I don't know. I like both of them. It was.
You're like us. You're not there very much anyway, so.
I'm not in my room hardly at all. So.
But you got to investigate quite a bit?
Just on my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some Tim Conwell was there, Tom's son,
Mhm.
and we went out the first night down to Sachs Bridge, and we heard Ben's voices, but that's a public area. But
Yeah.
what was more unusual was while we were facing into the woods, going down to the creek, heavy footsteps and boot steps walked behind us, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be somebody. And I looked over, and there's nobody there. So I'm hoping that I haven't looked at my evidence yet. I hope that I've got that on the video. And so there was a kid who I ran into up on the bridge itself who had boots on. So I got him, but they were the crepe soled boots. I
Yeah.
got him to stomp around on the bridge, and even on the bridge, he didn't make any noise. So, so I felt pretty solid with that if I got the recording.
So my big question is,
What?
I love it.
This is a bridge we went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Friendly still there?
Yes.
Okay.
I will meet you there, or we will go together.
Like I tell people all the time, it was my first job where I wasn't doing daycare. I was ice cream scooper, and my name tag, because we had another Denise, my name was Niecy.
I could see
Because
that.
my sisters always called me Niecy. They never called me Denise. So I had this little name tag and this short little dress, and every time I scooped ice cream, I guarantee my ass came out of that dress, and somebody was always watching. But
That's funny.
It's a memory,
Yeah.
and you figure the first one I worked at was just right there in Baltimore, on Ritchie Highway, which, if you stay on that road long enough, you're going to get to Gettysburg.
Yeah.
But yeah, Glenn Williams, he lives there in Gettysburg. Him and his wife are volunteers with why can't I not think of their names? The Berries, Pam and Steve Berry. They're real good friends with them. And I don't know if you got to see him, but if you did, you got to hear all his words. One of the only shows of mine that you never did a replay on.
That was so funny. I had forgotten that.
But again, guy from Glen Burnie, what do we expect?
Yeah.
I know, right?
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, the experience at Gettysburg is so amazing because the volunteers make that whole thing. The Berries work their butts off, and they do a good job because now they've done it enough. It's been there for several years. It's just a great event. And, I got my picture with Batman, and, those heroes for hire are amazing human beings. They really are. I had the best time with getting to know about that organization and everything. There's still the hating people, and we all know who those people are, and they don't deserve a minute of time. So I think that to have overcome stuff like that and still do the most outstanding, upright, make a freaking ton of cash for people who need it. Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors, kids with cancer. It's doing it for the right reasons, and right wins. I mean, it does. And the Berries make that happen because they and every person who volunteers with them, every one of them, work their ass off because they believe in that cause. It's brilliant.
Well, I think that next year is going to be the first year that we make it up there.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go forever and ever.
We got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everybody there.
I do. I know.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I can maybe go to the store, get some scrapple to bring home, and feel like I went back home.
Nope. That scrapple was something that people were very excited to get. And
house made.
There's some things that I'm not even going to trust you on. So, and that's saying something because I trust
really
you.
Crispy, and that's it. Because I always tell everybody it's the original gray meat. if you can handle gray meat, you should be fine. So
I say we bring Tom.
I'd love to bring Tom.
Yeah,
The bad
Tom
part
needs
is
to go.
he's way out of the way now.
That's
Tom
like
was-
half the U.S. away.
Yeah. So, but yes, Tom, we would love to have you come. Bring Nick and whoever else wants to come. So, we are at the end of the show, and I've
Amazing.
had so much fun visiting with you again. And can you tell everybody where
Dan
they
and
can?
Kitty would go.
Yeah. Well, you remember me doing my show from Dan and Kitty's house.
Yep.
They'd come up too. Is what
Yeah,
he's
they
saying.
would.
They love it. They love it.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, right now you can find me on the you can use my LinkedIn. I don't know if everybody knows that I got banned for life from Facebook because I got hacked, and I don't know what they did when they hacked me, but it was dramatic.
Wow.
So you can find me on my LinkedIn, Kat Hobson. I am working on getting back on Facebook and doing Facebook Live, but that's not there yet, and it will be quiet and calm when it shows up. So you could probably tune into this channel to find that out. I am on my YouTube. I am on live stream. Live stream live, and it goes to Twitter and everything but Facebook. So, and WBHMDB.com should be getting that too. So we're trying, because StreamYard does not do the right coding to go straight to my Facebook page. I mean, to my website.
Yeah, you have to save it.
Yeah. So that will be not live, but it will be there. So anyway, live is LinkedIn under Kat Hobson, and Facebook will be back. But mainly, I'm just having so much fun. And I did not know that I used Facebook so much. So I think that I'm glad I had the opportunity to understand that while it's a great marketing tool and a great place to talk to your friends, talk to my friends other places. So that's what matters, are the friendships.
Yeah.
Joining the Things Network is something that I have talked to Jeremy about, and we are looking at schedules and stuff, but I would love to. I think I have so much respect for the people at Things. And I saw Jeremy in chat earlier. He's probably gone to go do something, but that's one of the nicest men I've ever met.
I agree.
Or one of the nicest men I've never met face to face.
I've never met him face to face, but my show's on Things Network now. And so I'd like to thank everybody for letting me be on there. I'm grateful for anybody who watches the show even once. I'm extremely happy about it.
Well, you're like me. You just love doing it.
I do.
I love bringing people forward that maybe don't have a voice too many other places. I think it matters that we provide that, right? With Fate, I do a little bit more out there things sometimes because I'm a ufologist as well. I am a serious researcher into UFO UAP studies, and I'm fortunate enough that I get to do research and learn from some extraordinary scientists who are doing some serious work on that. So I'm lucky. I get to do the things I love. So, and even
I feel
now
like I'm
back there,
lucky to know you.
I love knowing you. And we are lucky that we do, because it's been a long way. It's been a long time. And that love just keeps growing.
And I wouldn't change it for a thing. So, but yeah, I hope everybody will join me here every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride. And you can see me on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, the Paranormal Pride. Yeah, the Paranormal Pride YouTube and Facebook pages, Things Facebook page, the Bill of Rights Network Facebook page. And you can also see me on Rumble on Born TV. So join us tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central with Carl and Ron. We're going to have on Holly Mullins. So
I love her.
She's
funny.
Every time I talk to her, it's like going back to see mom, with her living right in the area and stuff. It kind of feels like family. Yeah. So we're going to have Holly on. We're going to talk about what's changed in her life since the last time we had her on. And it's going to be interesting to find out because I know she's had a lot of changes in her life and I'd like to hear about them because they all sound positive. So, but I'd like to thank you again. I hope you have a good night. And everybody, please come back and check us out and check out Kat's shows. You're going to love them. You'll learn something. And you know what? We're all better when we learn something. So good night, everybody.
Good night.